Okay, this is part 2 of how to identify and list the lies that are hurting you. And so if you haven't watched part 1, I need you to do that because none of this will make sense unless you do. Okay, after you've listed your hurts, the things that are still hurting you, I want you to think about, so I want you to look down on your list and read the first one to yourself. And so whatever that is, I want you to think about all of the stories and lies and fears and limitations and consequences that are attached to that experience. Now, the mindset that I need you to get into at this point, and mind and heart, is that all of those things that you wrote down were experiences that your soul lived through. They are not labels. They are not the things that define you anymore. So you really need to set down the chains and free yourself of calling yourself the girl who whatever, the girl who always messes up, the girl who all the bad things happen to, all that kind of stuff. The only label that you're allowed to have in this class is a beautiful soul. Okay. And you can call yourself brave too because you're here. But the real truth, really, the only real truth about you and who you are is that you are a beautiful soul who is beloved. And so with that in mind, we have to start using a different language about our lives and our stories and the things that still hurt us. So and I want you to write this out in the third section, but I'm just going to tell you how I want you to think about these hurts that you've written down. So let's say somebody left you. Maybe it was a husband or a lover or a child left you, and you're estranged from somebody that you love very much. So the way that you would frame that experience is not as somebody who is unlovable or somebody that deserved to be unloved and left, because nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves to be hurt. The way you would frame it is, I am a beautiful soul who has lived through the experience or is living through the experience of being estranged from someone that I love. And that hurts very, very much. Okay? That's what the truth is. That's what the truth is. Okay? So that, while that is a hurtful experience, that experience does not have the power to hurt you because it already happened. Okay, so what is hurting you and what the weapons are, the wounds, the lies, are the things that you are attaching to that or allowing to be attached to that. Like, I'm estranged from my husband or my child because I am not good enough for them, or because I hurt them, or because I'm just not what they want. I'm not right, So then you start attaching all sorts of other things, like I'm never going to be able to be with anybody. I must not be good enough for anybody. And then, things happen. You gain weight, or you start drinking, or whatever, and then it just turns into this big, huge swirl of knives and weapons that's just cutting you up inside. So the next thing I want you to do is go to each one of those hurts that you wrote down. And I'm just going to read what I wrote. Every story that runs in your head about your experiences, list them. These are the weapons that are used to hurt, destroy, and mess up your soul house. Recognize that it is not the actual experience that is hurting you, but the stories and the weapons that you may believe about each of the experiences that is still hurting you. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is be willing to let go of those stories. So I just want you to start with a willingness. I want you to start with a willingness that you can hold on to the truth that you've lived through a lot of experiences, but you've got to let go of the shameful and self-sabotaging and hurtful and probably lie-filled stories that you've attached to your experiences. So we're going to be working on getting rid of those hurtful stories and weapons that you're telling yourself throughout the whole course. But I know some of you right now are wondering how you even get to the things that are hurting you, the lies and the things that are hurting you, and that's how you do it. Now, this part is going to stink and it's going to hurt, and probably if you're of a certain personality type and you're a really good stuffer, you haven't thought about these things for a long time, if ever. If you've been raised in a family or a generation where you're not allowed to really explore or feel your emotions, but you're just supposed to buck up and move forward and work and work through it and just deal with it. Those things don't go away. They fester and they become infection in you, and they've got to be addressed so that you can be restored back to the beautiful person that you were when you were 4, that you were when you were born, that you are now. You just need to be restored. There's just a lot of stuff that's on top of it. So you get to keep all of your wisdom and all of the things that you lived through, and those things aren't going to hurt you anymore because you're going to let go of the parts of them that are hurting you. The good part is you are a beautiful soul who has lived through a lot of experiences, and some of them are very painful. And those experiences they sucked, okay? They stunk. They hurt really, really bad. But those experiences taught you so much, and they made you the woman that you are today. And those are the things that you get to keep. You get to walk into the next part of your life with so much wisdom and strength and clarity, and also knowing a lot of things not to do. Half the battle in life is knowing what not to do. And if you've lived through a lot of experiences like that, you know a lot about what not to do. So we won't be going and chopping parts of our body off, experiences we've lived through, but just taking out the things that don't belong there, and then you get to keep all the stuff that you really, really earned. So do that exercise, and we'll move on to the next one. Good luck. Be really, really kind to yourself.